Well, it's Tuesday wrestling, and you all know what that means. As you know, across the Pacific in Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling concludes with the New Japan Cup. Who walks out as the winner? Will it be Sonata or David Finlay? But also, not to mention, the IWGP Jr. Heavyweight title is on the line. Will Hiromu retain the title to once again reign supreme? Why he is the best junior heavyweight competitor in New Japan? Or will Leo Rush finally obtain the one title he definitely wants to get? We'll find out as well. But, however, we also got NWA. We have Thrillbilly Silas in action against Brady Pierce. We even got the NWA Women's World Television Qualifier match. And also, we got 5 matches in AEW Dark. And of course, NXT, we're on the road to stand and deliver. Matches and battlefields are being laid out. But of course, we have 2 qualifying matches involving for the NXT Women's Championship and plenty others. But also, we got some news updates regarding what matches are being booked, what events are taking place, and whatnot. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with New Japan Pro Wrestling with the finals of the New Japan Cup. As you know, we had David Finlay versus Sonata in the main event. But before that, let's go from the beginning of this entirety of the show. We have just 5 guys, Doiki and Taichi, taking on Yuto Nakashima and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, this is also, as you know, when just 5 guys have established now with Sonata being part of their group. I think this is a good way for them to have a good start, knowing this is a new beginning for them. But, however, it was in this particular match that we had, of course, Taichi picked up the win with a backdrop onto Nakashima, giving them a very good win. But we will see those guys soon enough again. In the next match, we have Rohei Oiwa and Shota Umino taking on TMDK's Kosei Fujita and, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. Now, this entirety between Umino and Zack has been now going on. As you remember, if you remember clearly, it was Umino who eliminated Zack Sabre Jr. in the New Japan Cup. But however, it seems like Umino has other thoughts. He wants to have a piece of the title that Zack Sabre Jr. has. He wants the IWGP World Television title. And this has become more of an interesting um, interaction between them. However, as Umino taunts Zack Sabre Jr. with submissions of his own, with the STF on Fujita, forcing him to tap out. But we know that he wants that match. We just gotta wait and see until it's official. Next up, we got the Bullet Club members El Phantasmo, Chase Owens, and Kenta taking on Tomoaki Hamna, Tomohiro Ishii, and Tamatanga. However, as you know, this is not much of a big storyline in this, but much of the story was being unfolded by Kevin Kelly about El Phantasmo. It appears that he was not okay with the idea how things went down with Jay White, being attacked by David Finlay, and all of a sudden he's a member of Bullet Club. But he did stated that no one is talking about it. So it's like they want to talk about it, but they can't. But did that stop this match? No, it did not. However, it was, of course, El Phantasmo picked up a good win on Hamna when he applied the CR2, giving them the win. But however, will Finlay finally fit in his position to be in Bullet Club once he wins the New Japan Cup? Well, we'll find out when we get there. Next up, we got all members of the House of Torture, uh, Dick Togo, Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil taking on Ryosuke Taguchi. Who else is in it? Toru Yano and the members of Strong Style, Despy, and Ren Narita. Now, this is a full blown attack by House of Torture. They did not like the idea losing the never openweight 6-man tag team titles to Strong Style because they never wanted to defend them in the first place. They claimed they retired them, but that's not their call. That is New Japan's call. So they took advantage knowing that Minoru Suzuki was not present. Now, some of you may ask, where was Minoru Suzuki? Well, if you must know, he was in All Japan Pro Wrestling participating in another event. Keep in mind, just to remind everyone, Suzuki is not a full member of the New Japan roster, but he is a freelancer. He will show up whenever they book him. But this was an advantage that House of Torture took. But once again, as always, they used their tactical tricks. However, they didn't do that with Taguchi when Yujiro applied the pimp juice. But the most important part is when they attack only the members of Desperado and Ren Narita. Evil thinks that Strong Style is full of crap. Now, I'm not talking about the name of the group. We're talking about the style itself. He thinks that sort of crap is full of it, so they're sending a direct message. And they want another opportunity of the never openweight 6-man tag team titles. But however, until something has been legitly signed, then we'll find out. But this thing between them is gone far enough. Now, a very interesting development. They put out this video. I don't know what this was about. It looks more like something out of the Apocalypse was making play. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah. Now, our next match, we have the United Empire consisting of Great-O-Khan and Aaron Henare taking on LIJ's Tetsuya Naito and Shingo. Now, keep in mind, Henare has his sights set on the KOPW title that Shingo has. You probably would have thought in your minds that United Empire would have taken this win. No, it did not go down exactly that way. It was, of course, a victory roll by Naito onto Great-O-Khan that picked up the win. But Great-O-Khan does not like losing. He looks more like a sore loser who can't stand it. However, Aaron Henare will not back down until he gets what he wants, which is the title. Now, the other members of the United Empire, we have, of course, Jeff Cobb, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis taking on the members of Chaos, consisted of Yoshihashi, Hiroki and, of course, our IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Kazuchika Okada. This match, as you know, is being set. The Aussie Open want to get their hands on the IWGP Tag Team titles they felt that they are more deserving than anybody else. However, Yoshihashi was the one who ended up on the end of the Coriolis, but they're telling them that the result is going to be in their favor, winning the tag titles. But until something is officially said, I'm sure we will get that on the following day. But until then, that's what I'm putting out. Now our next match is a semi-main event. We have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line. Man, what an interesting matchup. Like, I was impressed by everything in this match that I enjoy. But, unfortunately, I thought Lio Rush could have been the one to dethrone Hiromu, but not this time. Hiromu applied the time bomb to 1, 2, 3 to retain the title. But, however, something just transpired afterwards. Zack Sabre Jr. showed up. It was unclear why. Now, I know some of you say, Zack Sabre Jr. is not a junior heavyweight competitor. We'd agree. But apparently the frontman himself made an interesting move. So he introduced Hiromu's next opponent. And to our surprise, it's the newest member of TMDK. And this is a very big surprise. And it's Robbie Eagles. I just don't know what happened. He announced that he will be the next challenger in Ryogoku on April 8th in Sakura Genesis. I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. Now, it's still unclear what happened. Why did Robbie Eagles join TMDK? Was there a bit of a falling out with Chaos? We don't know. But we do know, as you know, TMDK are a group based from Australia. And to your surprise, yes, Robbie Eagles is Australian, so that would make sense why he joined. But I would like to see how this, but hopefully the story can be unfold. Why did he make the choice to leave? Kevin Kelly thinks it has something to do with Leo Rush. I highly doubt that, but we'll see what happens. Now, our main event is the New Japan Cup. We have David Finlay versus Sonata. Oh man, this match was insanely amazing. You probably would have thought David Finlay would have gone, but to me, I've always been a big fan of Sonata for many reasons. Why? Sonata, he is always played out a pretty good, interesting wrestler for me. You know, he was from the very beginning. He never talked until he started talking, but he's like the man of a few words. I can relate to Sonata because before I started doing these videos, I've always been the one who's been quiet. You know, I never talk to anybody. I just stay quiet. But over time, I outgrown it. I've grown, but I think that's how I look at Sonata. He has grown so much, but I wasn't. I was like wondering how is this gonna go, but I knew he had that one arsenal in his pocket that he was able to apply, and I think that was the key thing. He applied the DDT, 1, 2, 3. It was over. So I think we were all happy, and I'm sure everybody from Just Five Guys are happy that he did it. You know that now changes are happening. The scenery is going to be changing, but however, he calls out Okada, and you all know how this is going to go. Basically, we know Sonata has challenged for this against Okada when the IWGP Heavyweight title was activated, but this is a new ball game. So even Okada's been waiting for him. So will Sonata be the one to dethrone? I would love to see that. I think many of us will love to see finally Sonata becoming a champion. That is something we definitely want to see. But we just gotta wait to see until that day happens. So I think that's pretty much it with New Japan right now. I believe it's time to move on with NWA. Okay, NWA Powerrr. Now, it started out with Brady Pierce versus Thrillbilly Silas. Thrillbilly has been a very impressive wrestler with such strength and all this. I feel he's one of those wrestlers we definitely need to see him wear a championship belt on his waist, but he has to go through Brady Pierce. One thing was amazing is that he actually took out Brady Pierce's partners, Rolando and Russ Freeman, when he applied everyone with the thrill ride. It's like became like a regular thing for him, but I thought it was a very impressive match. So he picked up a really awesome win on this one. I love Thrillbilly, what he can do. Now we do get an interview in the podium. We have that guy Daisy Kill, and of course Trevor Murdoch is there. Now keep in mind, a couple of weeks ago, about a week or two ago, this guy Daisy Kill just attacked Trevor Murdoch. Now, Murdoch, he's out of action. He cannot wrestle. But the obvious thing does tell, what the hell was this guy trying to do anyway? Why did he decided to attack Trevor Murdoch while in his match? So they decided to put themselves in a match. But however, that match did not happen due to another big, strong guy named Talos attacks him. But out of nowhere, Mike Knox shows up and helps him. So what does this mean? I mean, we know that Mike Knox put Matt Cardona through a table, but we haven't seen him since. Now, our next interview, we have Kevin Kiley. We knew him as Alex Riley back in WWE. It appears he's now back in wrestling, and he's with NWA now. As you know, he did had a match with EC3. Now, EC3 talks about saying how people don't care about you, that, he doesn't control his own narrative. But Kevin Kiley felt that, he's the one in control. So he's trying to say, what is he talking about? I'm in control of my own destiny. And it's true, everybody has their own narrative. But EC3 is very cryptic about it. Now, speaking of EC3, May does another interview with Black G's. Now, as you know, the thing with him and Tyrus, they're saying they're still cool with each other and all that, but this is something different. that he wants to do. So it's still unclear more and more is taking place, but it seems like their partnership is gonna really take off. Now, our last thing we're gonna talk about is the NWA Women's World Television qualifier. We have Taya Valkyrie versus Max the Impaler. Now, I know some of you are saying, is Max and Taylor Taya Valkyrie part of AEW? True, but this is partially one of their finishing up matches before she got signed. But I think it would make sense how this match ended because there was a short arm clothesline that allowed Max the Impaler to win to proceed into the finals. The head to Chicago, and she'll be facing against Kenzie Page. If I'm Kenzie Page, I think you may want to bring Pretty Empower to help you just in case you need to do that, because even though nobody likes Pretty Empower, but if that was but Page's way, I'd say she may have to pay attention. But yes, but this was possibly the last match with Tail Valkyrie and NWA. As you know, they cannot be around other TV networks while they're still exclusive to, that sort of thing. So I think that's pretty much it with NWA. So let's move on with AEW Dark. Okay, AEW Dark. We only have 5 matches, which is the second time in the second week so far that happens. But I'm not complaining. But there were some really good matches here that I did enjoy. Our opening match, we have Leon Ruffin taking on Juice Robinson. I thought this was a very impressive match because you look at Rock Hard, he is the kind of guy he's going to try to beat the living bejesus out of you. But Leon Ruff, he's the definition of try not to stay down. He will do whatever it takes to keep on fighting. But however, it did not go exactly according to plan for Leon Ruffin because he ended up in that DDT move, the juice or something like that. I don't know what he calls it, but it ended the deal for Juice Robinson to pick up the win. However, I think the main focus we're going to be seeing is when he will be confronting with Ricky Starks after he attacked him during his promo. Next match, we have like the battle of the former baddie versus the current baddie. We're talking about Leda Gray and Kiera Hogan. Now, I think this is one of those matches where, okay, how is this thing as when now? Now, keep in mind, Kiera Hogan never did like Leda Gray when she joined. If you guys remember, it was Stokey Hathaway before he was no longer, before he was let go. That's the manager of Jade Cargill. Basically, that kind of sets it in. But however, Layla Gray became like a more reliable person for Jade Cargill. But Kiera Hogan, the only reason she was thrown out, if you guys remember clearly, was because she messed up after after Nyla Rose stole the TBS title from her. But will anything change in this match? I'd say it was a pretty good one. But in this match, it was Layla Gray who walked out with the roll up, but she also grabbed the tights of Kiera Hogan to pick up the win. I'm sure Kiera Hogan will get payback for that when the day comes. Next match, we got the Iron Savages, Bronson and Boulder. They take on the Wingmen, Ryan Mendez and Cesar Bononi. I was impressed by this match because Boulder picked up not only Ryan Mendez but also Bononi on his. So I thought that was very impressive out of them. I mean, I would love to see them more appearing on TV because they're very impressive to watch. But unfortunately, that's I don't know when if that will happen. But it was the big splash by Bronson that picked up the win on Mendez, giving the Iron Savages their win. Next up, we got the Renegade Twins, Charlotte and Robin, taking on Avery Bro and Mafiosa. You probably can guess that this match, there's certain moments where we know that the Renegade Twins can play little dirty tactics, but that kind of sets it in. But it was the combination move that they pulled up onto Mafiosa to give them the win. Now, our next match, we have Billy Starks taking on Tony Storm. I have to say, as we've seen what Billy Stark what she can do, even when she's are supposed to lose a match, she knows how to throw out a good match, even if it's Toni Storm. I thought this match was very impressive from watching it. But the one thing it was very good is how Toni Storm, we know that she is that one person who's like saying all these new people don't know what they're doing. But it feels like Billie Stark knew what she was doing. Just to remind everybody, no, she is not signed with AEW. She's still a free agent, and she's still going to school, in case anybody asks. But very impressive until Toni Storm applied Storm Zero, and it was over right from there. So Toni Storm walked away with the win, and I think that's pretty much it with this one. So I believe it's time for our last review, and that is NXT. Okay, NXT. As you know, we're on the road to Stand and Deliver. Now, it opened up with pretty deadly. As you know, they were not too pleased after what happened last week when they decided to got themselves put through the table by both Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. Now, they're acting like they're saying they are the bigger stars and all that. And not to mention, they were saying things about Carmelo Hayes, which he did not like. Of course, it later turned into a little brawl later on. But this is what happened. I don't know what Trick Williams was thinking. He decides, let's make this an tag match. But he says it's going to be Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. So later that match was official. Now, Braun Breaker did help out Carmelo after being attacked by Pretty Deadly. Now in the back, Hayes was asking Williams, "Why did you put me in this position?" He's like saying, "Look, think about it. You're going to be in a match with him, right? You get a front row seat to see what he's made of. You know, I'll be the one with the pen and paper and all of this." So basically, it's more like you got to study him before you get to your big match against him. So it's like, okay, it makes absolute sense. But however, they did talk to Braun Breaker. Now this whole let's get together and let's see how it works out. But Braun's like, I'm not interested in that. I'm here to make sure you and I are in the best top physical condition. They really want this match between them to go exactly what people want to see. So he said he doesn't trust Pretty Deadly at all, and of course Trick Williams. So they're gonna make this happen as long as they get this out of the way. That's all that matters. Now, we get to our NXT Women's title qualifier match. We have Tiffany Stratton, who will be facing India Hartwell. Now, keep in mind, Zoe Starks is already one of the 4 women involved, so this is a pretty good match. India Hartwell, who felt that she is more deserving than everyone, but Tiffany Stratton, who's saying that that the entire women's division should be more revolved about her. But it did help that way when she put India Hartwell in a moonsault and win her position to be in this match at Stand and Deliver. However, India Hartwell was not happy. She keeps getting frustrated, and not to mention Zoe Starks was making fun of her. This entire scene was shown by NXT Anonymous. Now, we have seen what the Gallows Boys has been up to recently. They're not easy to find. So the Creed brothers went to find them and decided to play a little game of pool, which they admit that they're not good at. But they did say they're good at darts. So it's more like a back and forth game between them, which was really fun. So they kind of figured, okay, we know exactly what you guys are here for. You want to have a shot of the NXT tag team titles, which was a no-brainer to anybody. So they kind of made an agreement. But, however, while that agreement was being said, uh, Tony D'Angelo and Stacks were like, they want to have a shot at this. So they actually decided to talk more business. So it became more a discussion of whatever they were doing. But later on, they did show that they seemed like they had a bit of quite of a party. So the Gala decided, you know what? Let's turn this into a 3-way. So it kind of went into that. So it's kind of interesting to see what was about that. Now, our interview with Gigi Dolan. Now she knows what's the playing field like. It's like she knows that right now she's not sorry for what happened to Jay-Z Jane, all this and that. But however, she feels that she may have an advantage in the ladder match for the NXT Women's title because it's no secret she was in one herself. But however, Tiffany Stratton is saying that this match is definitely going to fall in her favor. So she's very confident in that. But Tiffany Stratton forgets she is not going to be alone. She has Gigi Dolan and two other people involved, and Zoe Stark is amongst them. Now, we have a very interesting promo from Wesley. As you know, he unleashed the chaos with his, as usual, with the open challenges for the NXT North American title. So basically, he is trying to find out who will be the other four participants. Excuse me. So all of a sudden, Dragon Lee shows up, saying he's been watching him. He said that he loves the chaos. He loves what he's doing. And Wes Lee, on the other hand, he goes saying that he's been watching him. He's been following him from when his career in Mexico and Japan. But however, he thought in his mind that since he signed with WWE, that's going to take about 6 or 8 months until they tangle with each other. But everybody knows that he's impatient, so he made Dragon Lee his first choice to be. But however, someone else has other thoughts, and that person is JD McDonough. So you know how McDonough is, all this, saying all this. However, Dragunov shows up, but McDonough did told Lee to have a front row seat to watch his match, which he did. Now that match was very intensified in all this thing. I just couldn't imagine what was going on. But however, it got a little chaotic because McDonough, who's very sadistic, shoved Dragunov right in front of Dragon Lee, and then of course Dragunov hit Dragon Lee. I mean, I felt bad for Dragon Lee for that, but it does tell the story. But all of a sudden, this match went into, I believe, a no contest. But of course, Wesley shows up, and this and that. It became of another chaotic timing. However, Wesley was interviewed. He realized how chaotic things have gone for this chase for the North American title. So he already made it clear the next two people to take the second spot and the third. So he chose Dragunov and McDonough because he knows for a fact those two will never end in a little battle. However, the fourth spot, he hasn't decided what he was going to do until Axiom said that he earns the spot to be in there. So apparently he decided, okay, so everyone wants a shot, so he made the much easier choice. How about next week, let's have a battle royale for whoever wins that match will get a spot in the fourth. And of course, that's what happened. Of course, he has wrestlers coming in later on showing like Jinder Mahal, Dijak, and Dabba-Kato, all this and that. They're like trying to say they'll see him soon. I'm like, ugh. I feel like he keeps adding more fuel to the fire for this. I just don't know. I thought it was so hilarious. Now, we did see, of course, Fallon Henley confronts Kiana James with everything that's been going on between them. But however, they have to focus on one thing. As you know, they will be facing Isla Dawn and Alba Fire in, of course, in Stand and Deliver for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the line. So that's going to be a very impressive match. But however, there was a scene where we see Fallon Henley was attacked by Dawn and Fire, but luckily Kiana James took care of business. Seems like they're are getting back in the same page. Our next interview, no, we do see Johnny Gargano, but apparently that dumbass Javier Bernal decided to show up, impersonate him. But however, the real Gargano showed up and beat his ass up completely. So basically, that kind of sends a message. But Gargano, as you know, what happened last time with Grayson Waller showing up at his house, he decided to made a contract with an unsanctioned match for Stand and Deliver. Now Waller thinks that oh, you really want to put yourself into this. He said he'll sign it next week under the condition he's not there. So he told to give the contract to Vic and he'll sign it, but he does not want Gargano anywhere around the arena. I have a feeling Gargano is going to be around, but in a way that possibly will be fun. Now, next week is announced for Eddie Thorpe, who will be making his NXT debut. I know he's been mostly appearing with NXT Level Up. It's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do right now. Now, as you all know, Ivy Nile is part of the qualifying match. She takes on um, Lyra Vacaria, but she had an interview talked about Tatum Paxley. But right now, she has to focus on this match, which is very interesting. However, I love this match between Valkyria and Ivy. Now, you probably thought they're like almost equally what they did, but it was that spinning roundhouse kick by Valkyria that picked up the win, earning her spot as the fourth participant in that ladder match for the NXT Women's title. I'm sure we're going to see a match between Ivy Nile and Tana Paisley down the line, but we don't know when will that be. Now, Hank Walker decided to put out his own narrative of his story of what he can do. But of course, watching is Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak, who believe that he does not have any killer instincts. So we'll see what happens then. Now, let's see. There's this interesting debate called the Great Debate between the Schism and Chase U. Now, it was like a 4-on-3 scenario. It seems like Schism was getting everything done, but however, Tyler Bate changed it when he stepped up. However, they wanted to have a 4-on-4 match, but Joe Gacy said, nope, we already beat you in singles and tag team. But Duke Hudson decided to raise up the stakes and put the school up on the line. And they're like, what is he thinking? So we don't know what he was thinking, but it's kind of like, what the hell? But yeah. Now, our main event features Pretty Deadly versus Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. I thought this match was pretty good. Like, they did work together. Now, they are fully aware they will be facing each other, but they have to show Pretty Deadly they need to shut the hell up, which they did. But I saw how Braun Breaker allowed Melo take the glory for some odd reason. So that's kind of interesting that he let him do his finisher, and that was it. So we'll see what happens next week as we progress when we get to Stand and Deliver. So I think that's pretty much it with NXT. So let's do some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's get started. As you know, WrestleCon continues to add more guests to have wrestlers to be participating in WrestleCon. More names have been announced from the Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling Girls. As you know, they will be in LA on WrestleMania week. They announced Yuki Ino, Shoko Nakajima, and Yuko Kamifuku. I wish I could meet them, but yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Good news coming from Dragon Gate. As you know, Eita and Dragon Gate are negotiating a new deal. They're saying that this will expand more of Eita's activities. As you know, he's been going back and forth with Dragon Gate and Pro Wrestling Noah, but they said they will give him a flexible schedule from what they're saying. I don't know how flexible it's going to be, but we'll find out. Now, as you know, we're getting closer and closer to the All Japan Pro Wrestling Champion Carnival, which is their version of the G1 Climax. However, there were 2 open spots in 2 different blocks in the tournament. For Block A, they announced the person who will take the last spot, number 10 in the A block. It's none other than, of course, Satoshi Kojima. So he will be in this tournament. This is the first time he participates with All Japan Pro Wrestling's Champion Carnival in 11 years. Now, the second participant in Block B, it was revealed to be Monaba Sayu from Pro Wrestling Noah. This is the second time in 11 years he'll be participating with them. So it's going to be interesting to hear that. Now, a couple matches have been announced for the upcoming Effy's Big Gay Brunch 6 in LA for the GCW Collective on the 1st of April. This is who we have. We have Carlos Romos taking on Devin Monroe. Then there's Sandra Moon taking on Steph Delanders, Karam versus Fred Rosser, and then finally a four-way match. We have Jai Vidal versus Honest John versus AC Mack versus Keita Murray. So yeah, um, interesting developments coming from MLW. Alicia Atout has announced that she is no longer with the company. She's now an official free agent, and she has been released from the company. She did show a lot of gratitude for the company for giving her some good opportunities. Still unclear what she'll do next, but we'll continue to follow that. They have announced for the next inductee for the WWE Hall of Fame this year, and this is a very interesting one. We have Andy Kaufman that will be inducted. A friend of mine put this on Facebook saying that he hopes that Jerry Lawler can induct them. I think that would be interesting, but there's no word yet. Until that time, this is what I'll be saying about the WWE Hall of Fame, who's been inducted. As you know, more of the Queen of the Indies show is being added for more talent. Will happen on May 13th. Lady Frost has announced that she will be participating at Queen of the Indies in San Francisco. So I'm looking forward to that. Prestige Wrestling has already announced for the Cascadia Wrestling Cup. However, they haven't announced what days was going to take place. They already now revealed that it's going to take place on July 8th and July 9th. So if you guys are big Prestige Wrestling fans, now you know. A new show has been announced by West Coast Pro with Cruel Summer 2023. This will take place on the 8th of July. So keep your calendars open. Now, for our GCW updates, we have, of course, some matches and wrestlers that participate. First, we have for the Joey Janela Spring Break for March 31st. It was announced Maki Def Kill will be appearing. I'm talking about Nick Gage and Maki Ito. This will be the first time those two will appear together. The Indie Hall of Fame that will take place on the 2nd of April. They announced their next inductee, and this is the 4th inductee, Mike Modest. I don't know who he is, but if anybody knows who he is, now you probably know who it is. For the event for the I Can't Feel My Face that takes place on the 15th of April, they announced that Blake Christian will take on Dan the Dad. As for the Red Means Green event on the 16th of April, once again, Blake Christian will be in action, taking on Myron Reed, the young goat. And then finally, for Scene of a Crime on the 22nd of April, Commander will be in a match against Joey Janela. This is the first time these two will ever meet. Now, if you guys remember clearly, Sareee, or as we knew her in NXT, Sarray, has returned to Japan. However, this guy who I've been following, who translates a lot of the Japanese, put out a question that they asked her about. As you know, Kairi, or the Pirate Princess Kairi, has announced a friend coming to be Stardom, and they asked Sarray about that. This is what she had to say. Let me pull it up real quick on this phone. Here it is. Okay. This is the question they asked her. Was an interview from Shupro. Are you the person Kairi plans to introduce on the April 2nd Stardom show? She replies, no, I am not. Now, I have talked about this recently on a news update where I talked about Sayori Onoe. I have that distinct feeling it's her. But, like I said, it's nothing concrete just yet. It's just a theory. If it is her, we'll find out. But Sarray actually revealed that is not true. So basically, she's not involved. Now, I know somebody say, but J-Ro, what if she's lying? Anything is a possibility. But for now, we'll just go from what this was revealed. Now, finally, before I end this, as you know, today, since it's March 22nd, this is the 8th-year anniversary since Perro Aguayo Jr. passed away. If you guys don't know who he is, he was a wrestler, a luchador who I followed his dad for a long time when I was a kid. His dad was an amazing heel. So is he as well. He was the original leader of. He was the leader of Los Perros del Mar, which of course you see in pro wrestling. Know back in the day they had the Los Perros del Mar de Japón. Um, Eita and Nosawa Run Guy were once members of that faction in Mexico, along with Doiki. Um, it's kind of I just almost forgot that it's been that long with Perro Aguayo passing, but he was an amazing heel. I mean, he had this attitude like he didn't want to play by anybody's rules, but I thought it was pretty. He was a pretty cool wrestler to watch. So it's sad that he passed away, but we must remember what he has brought into the wrestling world, what he can do, and what he can bring in. So I think that's pretty much it right now with uh, the news updates. I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have AEW Dynamite. Now, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do, but I did find out that there is a Choco Pro show. I can't wait to see that. Now, if there's any news updates early that I'm going to put out, I'll stand by for that too in case of anything. Um, as you know, we had the latest Bleach show that took place on the 21st. However, um, I don't know when that will be uploaded. It wasn't uploaded live, but I can't wait to see that. This one features Unagi Sayaka uh, when she teams up with Izuki Aoki, but we'll find out soon enough when we get there. But for now, I'll decide what I'm going to do. But from this moment forward, I'll just bid all of you. I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.